who's running our course, is going to demonstrate for us. Run like buggery. In the air very quickly. So this is the north face of the Chabre. This is the north takeoff, the one that I said that I would also try and film the other day. It's a much nicer takeoff, much cleaner. You've got the AstroTurf to take off on, and then a much cleaner launch without the undercut of the cliff undercutting underneath it. So this is a preferred takeoff when the wind is coming from the north. One of the things that I've been thinking about is taking off techniques. I talked about taking off the other day and about the need to run really fast down the hill, which maybe oversimplifies it a little bit, but when I'm running down the hill, that's my main thing that I'm thinking, is go really fast. Some people have a tendency to cock it up and get it wrong, and sometimes that may end up in them having a crash on the launch. We've seen a little bit of that during this week through people either messing up the takeoff or taking off when the wind's not right and maybe coming over the back a little bit. So I thought it was worthwhile talking a little bit more about the takeoff, and I have learned a little bit more about the actual theory around the takeoffs in the course that I'm doing now, which has been really useful. So first thing before taking off is making sure that the wind is coming in the right direction. You see from the windsock there, the wind is coming from the north, coming up the slope, and you can see from the streamers down there that the wind is coming up the slope. So right now this would be ideal taking off conditions, and you could quite easily take off here. The next thing is when you start your takeoff run, how to go about it. So you hold the glider onto your shoulders as normal, and as you can see from here, it's quite a steep takeoff run. Tendency for British pilots could be sometimes to let the nose come up too high and just take a couple of steps, because in the UK you can get away with that because we're flying in strong wind a lot of the time. You try and do that in alpine conditions or up in the hills here, and you're likely to come a cropper. So what you need to do when you take off is you have the glider on your shoulders and you have your hand in front of the upright. You lower the nose slightly to make sure that the nose is pointing down enough so that you can run down the hill. And as you're running down the hill, the airflow will begin to attach to the wing, and the air will start going along the wing and start giving it lift. At that point you need to keep the nose down to allow it to accelerate enough until it's lifting off properly. So that's why I say you keep the nose down and you run like buggery as fast as you possibly can. I've never heard anybody say that they have run too fast on a takeoff. It's not possible, and any excess energy that you put into your takeoff is just going to help in your climb out afterwards. So you've got the nose pointing down, you're holding the nose down by the uprights, and you're running down as fast as you can. Only when the wing is properly lifted off your shoulders do you then change your grip from this grip into this grip, still keeping the nose down, but at that point you've got the fulcrum of the harness has gone tight, the straps have gone tight in the harness, and you've got the fulcrum of being able to pull the uprights back to keep the nose down. Keep running like that and the glider will lift you off your feet, and then you will be flying, and at that point you can just let the glider out to trim and fly away. If you get into an awkward situation where maybe you haven't run fast enough or you have some bushes coming up, some absolutely key things: do not stop running. You stop running and you are going to pile in there. So if anything, try and accelerate towards those bushes. Next thing, do not try to jump over the bushes, because all you're going to do is then when you finish your jump is you're going to shock load the wing, which isn't flying properly, and you're going to pile in. What you need to try and do is just run through the bushes, and invariably you will find that you take off before you get to the bushes. You can, if you're almost flying, just ease the nose out a little bit and the wing can just lift you above the bushes, and then as soon as you're over them, pull the nose back in again and keep heading away from the hill. So you end up going a little stall like that, or up a little bit like that, but before you stall, pull it back in and get away from the hill. But that's only in extreme situations where you've taken off when you haven't run quite fast enough, or where the wind has dropped and you find yourself in that difficult position and you're thinking, oh my god, what do I do now? But in no circumstances should you jump into the air. Just maybe ease, if you're in that emergency situation, just ease the bar out a little bit so it lifts you up over the bushes, and then pull it back in again straight away. So that's the takeoff technique. Guys, you've been listening to that. Have you anything to add to taking off? Johnny Carr, the legend.
No, I think you summed it up about right there. I think you summed it up about right. the most important thing is to make sure the streamers are coming towards you before you even attempt to take off.
Okay, thank you. Tim Swaite, avian dealer, anything to add?
So one thing is, angle of attack is the angle between the wing and the direction the air's coming to it. So the wing doesn't care what slope you're on, the wing only sees the air. So what that means is if you're going down a slope, you need to really point the wing down. You'll feel like you're pointing it quite a long way down, but in actual fact, the wing's seeing the air which is coming towards it, and the air is still actually seeing a wing which is raised. So you really do have to pull the nose down further than you think you're going to have to.
Thank you, Tim. That's really, really important and very good advice. So, 3 key things. The streamer's coming towards you, which shows the wind's coming up at you. Keep the nose down and run like buggery. Thank you. We're in Taipama.
Hello.
Any last words?
Sawadee krap. Krap kong krap. Sawadee krap.
Okay. He's running our course. He's going to demonstrate for us. Nose down and run, run, run really fast. In the air very quickly. And off he goes. So he's over very quickly. Got the nose pointing down the hill. And he just ran straight down the hill. He was away with no problem because there's a nice breeze coming up the hill.
What are you going to sing for us today?
No singing today.
Like a bat out of hell?
I hope not. Has found us a thermal. Johnny Carr said he wasn't going to take off, but here he is with me. This is the legend that is Johnny Carr coming into land